Very pink sky, so we're in for some shocking weather here in Melbourne. It looks like it's on target to arrive just as the umpire puts the ball in the air.
You sound like an old farmer. It's Melbourne and Collingwood on Queen's birthday, and the Demons, as Neil Danaher said, will be looking for a flying start. That's what they've got last week, and they want to continue it. Picked up by Wheatley, goes down towards the half-forward line. There is no Farmer. Pushed wide towards centre wing. Collingwood defending, and it will beat them over the line for a throw-in on centre wing.
Right at this stage, Dimatina is running with Woden for the Pies, but I think Woden is trying to get himself onto O'Brien.
Yeah, spot on there, Jared. He's trying to get onto O'Brien because O'Brien's in good form at the moment, and Melbourne wanted to find the ball early.
White wins it.
He's an absolute ball magnet, O'Brien.
Lockyer couldn't take it. McKee was there as well. Trying to get the hand pass out was Brown. It's effective. They go forward through Whiting up towards the 50. Here's a chance for the D's, but it'll be Clement defending once more. Oh, he was taken high, James Clement, and should be free kick. The advantage is going to be paid. They go down towards the 50, and the mark is taken by Holland. Holland looks further afield towards the square. Big pack of players, but only one with the right hands, and Rocker saying, I've got the first advantage. This ball is mine. And he will go back and kick for the first goal.
Well, I'm not sure what the pointing was all about, but no doubt that they are trying to stretch the Demons forward line. And Rocker has just gone up and taken an extremely good mark. He's against Troy Simmons, who hasn't played a lot of football in defence. And he's going to suffer the pain very early in the piece.
Rocker, one of only 5 Collingwood players today to have played over 100 games, and 4 of those players are imports. Rocker being one of them. Of course, starting with Sydney. He's given the Pies a flying start.
And I think they need a flying start, Sandy. Melbourne consider their cherry ripe for this victory. Just having a talk to a couple of the officials surrounding the side, they really think psychologically they're up for this match. And Collingwood, without their superstar in Buckley, if they can just get off to a good start, they can. I think that they can overcome that the deficiency they would have going in, that doubt in the brain that they can't win without him in the side. But it's the Melbourne defence that does look a little brittle.
Josh Fraser at centre half forward. McKee on the ball. Goes to White. Good bounce too. Rucks go at it. White again won it down. Spills wide of the pack. McDonald gets a hand pass. Uze with the right boot down towards half forward. Freeborn from the side. Got a fist on it. Knocked it away. McDonald, James, socket off the deck towards the boundary line. Close to the boundary. Still in. Picked up again by James McDonald. Falling to the ground. Got a hand pass away. Schwartz hit the pack hard. Bruce nicely done. Uze kept it in front. Bruce once more taken down by Davis. Jarred out of there. Dimatina slides in. Davis tried to hit for the boundary line. Nothing doing. Ball stayed in. Ball up. Collingwood a goal. Melbourne yet to score. Breeze left to right. And the weather, it seems, about to set in. Matthew James to bounce it down just inside the boundary line. Schwartz and Richardson fell at their feet. Freeborn at close quarters. Hot potato for Davis. Down goes Ward. Hand passes towards the boundary line, and out it goes.
Melbourne bench with Brent Gergich, Scott Thompson, Ben Beams coming into the lineup, and Simon Godfrey. Schwartz, Richardson to do battle again. What a big day it is for David Schwartz in game number 150. Leoncelli taken out of it. O'Brien also. Cameron Bruce wanting a free kick. Going to O'Brien. Shane O'Brien has had an excellent season. Comes wide to Fraser. Josh Fraser, a bounce, and will pop it over the top to his co-big man in McKee. Fraser runs on down. Clement slips at a critical stage. Good shepherding by Fraser, sees him able to recover and steady. Kick in towards the 50 once more. Malloy, 1, 2, 3 grabs.
He's desperate to get that mark of the year. And he's matched up against Collins. They've also got Lucuria going with Green,
short,
the Pies.
Sorry. McKee, he's played on. He's played on. Gives the hand pass away to O'Brien. He's still 55 out. O'Brien from a standing start. There's no one home. no one home, and Jeff White takes an uncontested mark on the last line of defence. White with Malloy on the mark. Goes short. That's okay. Finds Nicholson. Short once again to McDonald. James McDonald's on halfback. Looks in towards the centre. Melbourne have got a few loose players there at the moment, and one of them is Paul Wheatley. Wheatley goes deep into the forward line. Green was the target. He couldn't take the mark. Nothing paid. Play on is the call, and Collingwood through Wakeland out of trouble once again. Wide to the outer wing. Jeff White closing at the back. Will the ball beat him over the line? Needs assistance, but too late as it's pushed over by Anthony McDonald, and we've got another throw in. Collingwood with just the one goal by Anthony Rocker, leading by that margin.
And the matchup's up the spine. Collins is on Malloy. Fraser is being picked up by Wheatley. Leoncelli and Lockyer. Schwartz has got Richardson, and Wakeland is on Neitz.
There's Lockyer close to the boundary line, down towards half forward. Awkward bounce. Leading back in the race, Tarrant knocks the ball to his own advantage. Coming across on the angle was Simmons. The hand pass from Holland stays in, paddling it around the boundary, and soccering is Rocker.
Resultant finish though to get the throw in. Dangerous spot for the Demons.
Gained about 40 metres there. Some hard work. Boundary throw in beside the behind post. Early going at the MCG on a big day. The old rivals, Melbourne and Collingwood. Vacant goal square, put into space. Holland grabs it. Look at that. Kicks the goal.
Another bloke who has been a pretty effective recruit for them this year, the Pies. He's still got a fair way to go, Brodie Holland, but he's playing a pivotal role at this stage. Maybe not pivotal, but he's playing an important role for Collingwood. He's hard at it. His kicking has let him down occasionally, but not that time.
Players have got to think though, don't they? You can't leave that space.
Exactly. Just be behind him.
Jerry, interesting that Bree's now gone full forward and Wawan to pick him up.
Fraser on the ball as Brodie Holland gets his 11th goal in his career. The Di Martina hand pass is going to be okay. It's all one-way traffic at the moment as Clement goes down towards O'Brien and he marks inside 50. He's got the D9 in the square. He heads towards full forward and he's high.
Jesus, Melbourne defence, the ball's coming in, creating one-on-ones. It's not flying in there, but just in the one-on-one battles, they have been soundly towed at this stage. This was just a marking contest. Collins not able to put body on body, not able to punch the ball away. He's been exposed, and we saw Anthony Rocker take a very big grab against Troy Simmons to kick the first goal for the Pies.
Collins seemed to have plenty of time though, didn't he? Almost sparred with him at one stage, just stayed off him, had to make contact with the body.
.169 goals in his career, 11 so far this season, and this to give Collingwood an exciting 3-goal break early on in the game. He's missed to the right. He's missed.
Could regret that.
Wheatley then to bring it back into play. As we've said, overcast conditions here in Melbourne. Cool but pleasant winter's day. Wheatley, that's a lovely kick straight down the middle. Clement spoiling from behind. Di Martina rammed to the ground by Woden. Ball spilling free, an opportunity for Daniel Ward to go even wider towards Schwartz. Richardson back again. Uze twisting, turning, dodging, weaving, kicks to half forward. That's better. Neitz now will have a shot for goal. 45 out.
A deft little tap there from Schwartz to set up Uze.
Sensational play by the 150 gamer.
To an appreciative groan
Look
from
at that.
Dennis Cometti. He liked that.
Oh, beautiful.
So Neitz for the Demons first from 49 metres. He kicks the goal and they're on the ball.
Well, a couple of goal turnaround there. What should have been a 3-goal lead to the Magpies is now just 7 points. Malloy missing one he shouldn't have missed, obviously, and Well, this handy piece of work here from the 150 gamer in David Schwartz, setting up Uze. Took a fairly good grab, but it was a good lead into space. Importantly for Nietzsche, gets the first genuine shot at goal through successfully.
Magpies by 7 points. Maybe a corky. Hopefully that's all. Schwartz with a limp up. White and McKee. White again decisively. Woden moved at about 5 metres. Di Martino with courage, kicking in danger. He'll get the free kick. Feisty customer plays on immediately, kicks it down towards half forward. Fraser missed the mark. Whitley goes back over the shoulder. Says the umpire, only 10 metres away. Sometimes they can be too close. There's Fraser. 55 metres out, unloads. Telling kick, lovely kick. Goal.
Well, that's a sign of a star, isn't it? Take a grab, whether it, or a free kick, whether it was there or not. There's no doubt Wheatley manhandled him. But kicking a goal from outside the 50-metre line is, if you can do that regularly, that is the hallmark of a real good player.
What a kick from the 19-year-old. Fraser gets his first. Boy.
Oh, it was a bad sign. That's a hammy. Hopefully it's perhaps just a buttock injury or a buttock corky, but he's grabbing it up there where the hammy.
Corky. A battered buttock.
A battered buttock. Better than a battered serve.
There we go then, gentlemen, in the middle once again. Di Martino to O'Brien. Wider, Clement racing for it. He tries to push it along in front, and he does well. Gets it to the line, and we've got to throw in on centre.
I reckon Schwartz is in trouble.
Looks like he's coming from the ground there, boys.
He is grabbed up where the hamstring inserts, Sandy. Right up there, just underneath the buttock.
Well, that's a tragedy for Demon fans and for Schwartz himself in his 150th.
Almost sums up his career in many respects.
Well, it does, sadly, with those 3 knee reconstructions as Richardson sees it over the line with Freeborn.
Let's hope it is just a bruise or a corky, though. Dipper will find out for us very shortly.
Big test now, isn't it?
Is this where it occurred?
Gets the big clash, but he was holding his left side hamstring. Bump came on the right.
The curious hand pass is smothered. This is James McDonald on centre wing, pulling it round towards a half forward, chopped off by Richardson. He is away, slung as he gets his kick, but it's okay. It finds Lockyer in the middle of the ground, and Collingwood are running now. Here is Loney on the outer side, and here's Malloy, but he slips and he goes to ground. And it's taken to the line, almost, just going to be kept in play as the hand pass comes back towards Wheatley. Wheatley gets it off to Collins, he's in trouble. Now they've got it once more, another chance for McDonald. The McDonald boys combining as they run it through the middle, up towards half forward. Neitz again is a target.
Close.
They're lacking it down at that forward line at the moment. It's going to be up to Neitz to do what he can as Gergich's kick is only short. He'll have another opportunity, Gergich, but he slips. Loney trying to paddle it forward. Bruce over the top, but he couldn't take it. Now the sweeping hand pass is good to McDonald. He gives it away, and surely an opportunity for a long snap from Uze. But it's wide and wild. The scoreboard showing Melbourne just the 1 goal. Collingwood has 3 on the board, 3-1.
It looks like more of a corky there, Jared. He's been on his hands and knees with his face towards the bench. They've been running with his backside there. So
Richardson, Lockyer, just trying to gain valuable meterage, and he does that, putting it out in front of Di Martino and Woden for another throw.
Watch it again. He does land on that side. The landing, I think, is pivotal. Didn't see Rocker, so maybe it's not all that serious. Hopefully. Tossed in on the outer side. Fraser. Great agility for a big man. To Lockyer, Di Martino, Freeborn. Now Davis on the outer side, driving down towards half forward, in front. This is Rocker. Rocker, forward of the wing, kicks well inside the 50. Knocked towards the boundary line. Coming up is Malloy, met solidly by Ward. This is Tarrant off a step, pulling it back towards the kick-off line. Nick Davis running back with the flight of the ball has marked 10 metres out.
Well, it looks like the good news for Melbourne is that the Schwartz injury isn't a hammy, but he's still in trouble. Whether or not he can come back, the bad news is that Davis is about to kick another goal. Great work from Malloy to get that ball back in play. Kept it alive, got it to a teammate who centred it unselfishly.
Davis gets the goal. Magpies on fire.
Well, they've been impressive to date. They've set themselves for a good start and they've got away to it. Just have a look at the Malloy monster. He just comes straight through and he gets it. I'm not sure who that player was, but he got it to the perfect position, top of the square. Chris Tarrant, excellent kick. Great start by the Maggies.
Schwartz still sidelined. Goals to Holland, Davis, Rocker and Fraser, and the Maggies have a flying start. 6 plays 25 with just over 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. White doing the ruck work and winning it. Melbourne desperate for a score here. McDonald caught and another bounce.
Well, Schwartz is on his feet, just stretching out here on the boundary lines. That's a good sign there.
Demon fans desperate to see him back as soon as possible. That's why Woden and Dimittina have been at it since the word go. Jostling and hustling and bustling.
Hasn't had a touch yet, Shane Woden.
There was Dimittina through strongly. O'Brien. Oh, good work by Shane O'Brien. He hustled, he won the foot in, he kicks it down towards the half-forward line. Smashed away to the boundary line by Matthew Collins, forcing another throw-in.
Well, the loose man is James McDonald.
Throw in, taken out of the air by Rocker. The attempt was good. He gives it to Holland. Holland snaps. He's already kicked one, but he pulls this one a little too far right. And one behind.
Dimitina's trying to get onto Woden. Woden's trying to get onto O'Brien. So there's a 2-on-1 scenario. Doesn't often work, Sandy. And Jay McDonald is the one who should be by himself, and Melbourne just should try and isolate him and kick it to him every time they can.
What it is doing is frustrating Shane Woden. He brings it back into play, and Rocker will send Collingwood deep into attack once again. Fraser and O'Brien drop down in towards the forward region. Fraser still dropping back there. Rocker's going to let go with a big bomb. A big bomb, but he's away to the right.
Wasn't a really convincing attempt at the mark there by Troy Simmons. He's got to hit that pack hard. They've got a very tall structure across the 50-metre line at this zone defence of the kick-ins, and if the Melbourne big men are in the vicinity, they've got to let them know by physical pressure.
Whitley told to hurry towards centre half back. Uze on his chest.
Is that a good start? 6th kick coming up.
Swings it out wide. Simmons cruising past his Brown. That's ignored. He goes down towards half forward, and White needs to stretch. Takes the mark. He's 65 metres from goal. Could almost be over this game already. Collingwood dominating. Woden slips in behind the defence. Is called out by Meats, who's got a chance to put his second goal, taking the sliding mark.
Yeah, it's a good call. He must have recognised the voice.
David Neitz. Distance won't be a problem. A kick from 40. We're just outside. It tapers away to the right or behind. That would have been very good for them. The Express in the rain. 4-3-1-1. Melbourne in need of the next goal. Here's Loney. He's made a wonderful start to his career. Plays onto the pocket. Goes for a long kick towards the outer side wing. Over the top. McKee almost found the ball on the ground. Lays it off. O'Brien has been terrific. Close to the boundary line. Pinpoints the ball. Tyson Lane on the outer side. Draws a man into space for Lockyer. Down towards left half forward. Spears the pass in. And Rocker within range has taken the mark. He will kick from right on the 50. Last time didn't miss by much.
That just emphasises how dangerous it is to kick points. Not only do you miss the goal, but invariably against good sides, you set them up for a quick transition for them to have a shot at goal. Well,
it was his miss that got Melbourne on the run.
Yep.
Meats missed. Back with him.
Simmons off. Schwartz back on.
Gingerly. Here's Rocker. Good looking effort. Just sliding across the face. So what can Melbourne muster from here? Here's David Schwartz.
In fact, it was Gergie coming.
Gergie got there, boys.
Yep.
7.5 minutes remaining in the first term. 21 points the margin. Melbourne receiving yet another let-off. It's 8 effective scoring shots to 2. And they're down by 21. Here's Fraser. Look at this boy. 19 years of age. He's going to be one of the true superstars of the game. He's on centre wing. Sends back a long bomb towards Tarrant, Rocker and the D9, but it's going to be Melbourne through Daniel Ward to clear to the outer side. Cameron Bruce is there, but he's got to beat a couple. Lockyer picks it up now, gives the hand pass away. They go charging in towards full forward. Malloy at the back is forced to spoil, then recovers, tries to bounce it onto his boot, is not successful, and it's taken over the line for a throw-in the left forward pocket.
Godfrey's on for the Demons at the expense of Leon Shelley, and Godfrey generally gets a tagging job. Let's have another look at Josh Fraser. Good work here by Tarrant. He could sense, I'm sure he was in a 2-on-1 situation. You saw him just have a quick look over his left shoulder.
O'Brien, the hand pass, not as well directed as he would have liked. Put the pressure on Lockyer, and he turns on a bad bounce going back to O'Brien. Here's Licuria. He goes wide. There's been a whistle.
Godfrey took it high.
And it's going to be 50.
I think Godfrey may be going straight on to Lockyer, because he has had a ton of possessions in this opening quarter, already up to 9.
Into half forward. Schwartz is there, but he doesn't look at all well. But he's staying out on the ground at the moment as Collins, who loses it. Collingwood have come out charged up here today and determined to fire up. That's what they're doing as Wheatley looks to the forward line for Melbourne. They need something here, and it's Neats again who takes the mark just inside 50. Demons about to spring another change. Ben Beams getting ready to come on.
Bruce is off. He had an injury doubt about him during the week. Hasn't been able to find the footy in the first quarter.
Neats has been the only one who's managed to score a goal for Melbourne so far. He's going for his second, 52 metres out. Pretty good looking kick, but again, just away to the left.
That's what makes it difficult having shots at goal at the MCG. He lined it up for the wind, and this time it wasn't there. The kick 5 minutes ago travelled pretty furiously from left to right. But it's almost as if you've got to treat every kick as an independent one here, such as the swirling nature of the wind.
Dimatina gets it from Loney. Yes, that governed his thinking, didn't it, with that kick?
Yep.
Dimatina plays on. Cross half back, looks to the outer side. Low down. Licuria had it socket away by Uzo. Ricochets out though. Tyson Lane did very nicely. On the outer side, Holland kicks it up towards the wing. Going back with courage as Davis, made to win it too by Ward. Davis shakes free, wants to go, does, inside the centre square. Probing kick inside the 50.
O'Brien.
Great check off the ball. O'Brien could have been taken high. He's going to get the free kick. Well done by Tarrant. About 5 metres away.
And Schwartz, Dennis, has come off and gone straight up into the rooms.
Bad news for the Demons. Bad start by the Demons. In trouble, down by 20. And O'Brien, who's been lively, coming up for his 8th possession, kicking at his first goal. Collingwood's 5th. Interesting kick. Hardly anyone back as well. Nicholson gets a free kick. Margin is 20 points. Nicholson wasting no time, goes in short. Simmons in the back pocket.
Probably would have been better just trying to use his body more rather than go the big fly there, Malloy.
McDonald. Good to see him back. James McDonald, deep in his own defensive area. Short again. Brown. Ooh, interesting. Worked out okay. In fact, it helped him.
Quick.
Brown on his way up towards the wing, then kicks towards half forward. Neats could have been tripped on his approach to the ball. The lights are on now. Uze goes with the outside at the boot. Green, and it bounced off his chest. Presta Giacomo step for step. It's out of bounds.
The area where Melbourne have to improve, though, is in the neutral ball situation around the ground ruck contests. Melbourne have had 3 clear hit-outs, but they've only had 1 clearance. Collingwood's had 4 clear hit-outs, but they've picked up 9 clearances. So even the ones that have been not all that decisive, Collingwood are picking up, and O'Bree's got 3 by himself.
Wakeland contesting there. Richardson, body over the ball. McDonald right there with him. That's Anthony.
Sandy, someone's found the switch to put the lights on here at the MCG.
Thank heavens. I think really they should have been on right from the word go. It's a very dark and gloomy day here today in Melbourne.
Austerity.
Pretty gloomy for Melbourne fans, with no Jeff Farmer, David Schwartz down in the rooms, and 20 points down and not even quarter time. Richardson and Neitz uses him as a step ladder.
They're really struggling around the midfield. Woden's just about given up on trying to chase O'Brien around. Here's his man Dimitino, who's getting enough of it. Woden's still with no possessions, and O'Brien's had a stack of it.
Dimitino finding Fraser, short to Freeborn. He's on half back as Collingwood prepare to mount yet another challenge. They go up towards the half-forward line. Rocker again.
Good start to the match.
He's proving a real focal point today. Plays on quickly to Holland, gets underneath the high drop punt in towards full forward. What a clasp from Davis. He almost stole it from the top of the pack. And Nick Davis will go back and kick for his 2nd goal. Just plucked it away from Simon Godfrey, who I thought was imagining it just falling into his arms. Davis for number 2. And for Collingwood's 5th. He makes no mistake.
Dennis, is it just me, or do you get the feeling that this is a bit of a tactic of Collingwood, where the person that's sitting underneath the ball's main responsibility is just to keep out his direct opponent, and somebody else comes across and flies?
Yep, I think you're spot on.
So I reckon Chris Tarrant has done it 3 times in this quarter. O'Brien did it there. I'm not sure if he knew Davis was there, but we will watch this space with interest. Sandy.
Michael Malthouse would be well pleased. Been lately alongside. 5-4-1-2. That's the reason for his pleasure. The forward line really functioning, as is the midfield. The Demons have had question marks over their defence, and they're looming large again at the moment. 1 out. They're really having trouble. Rocker causing them fits down there. Tarkin Lockyer, last man up, runner-up in the best and fairest last season.
Of course, the great talking point is that Melbourne's best defender has continually been played in the forward line, and I think Neil Denner has justified it by basically saying his whole forward line revolves around him, and that when he pushed him forward last year, they won 9 out of 10 to get themselves into a grand final.
Well, in fairness, he could have kicked 3 goals by now,
sure.
couldn't he? Another ball up. Russell Robertson approaching quarter time, under 2 minutes from the break. Woden very quiet. Dimitino has done a very good job.
The loss of Ingerson is, despite his lack of skill, he has been a very effective defender.
And I like Rigoni as well. Here goes the kick from Dimitino down towards half forward. O'Brien could have been held without it. Rocker tries to feed it back close to the boundary line. Well played by Wheatley to Brown. Godfrey back to Wheatley. Wheatley from half back, kicks towards half forward. Here comes Neitz again, won't get to the contest this time. Going back with courage, Tyson Lane got a fist on it and got it across the boundary line. The Magpies are pumped and they're looking terrific.
Just on a minute remaining in the quarter. 34 plays 8. Collingwood doing it well without their champion Nathan Buckley. Push out, we'll see Fraser. Collingwood want the advantage. It will come back. The whistle had sounded and Fraser will take it on the half-back line. And just tried to gently lift him from the hips and move him. It wasn't successful. Wakeland. Oh! Bang!
Fair tackle.
Sensational tackle. Up to half forward, and good mark taken by Robertson. He plays on quickly. Freeborn tackles him or bumps him as he gets his kick up towards full forward. Waiting down is Clement. Clement goes for the open spaces and Lockyer leads McDonald in the race for the ball. Just needs a kind bounce and gets it now. Laney will do the shepherding for Licuria. Licuria looks up towards the left half forward flank area, and here he is.
Malloy.
He's taking everything at the moment in this half-forward line. Malloy's at the back, and in front is Tarrant.
You see, Gerard Malloy just stood his ground there. Did he put his hands up? Bit of shepherding there. Well done.
Well, we're going to have a look at it, Tipper. There's Rocker's. The penetrating kick was a beauty. And Gerard Malloy said, well, it's your turn, Chris. You've shepherded it out a couple of times. We'll let you have a crack at it.
28 goals last year, 26 already this season. And that's another opportunity that's gone begging. They've had 10 effective scoring shots at goal. And that one has not troubled the scorers. Bit of disappointment for Collingwood and Chris Tarrant, because that could have really set them up for a big day on this Queen's birthday. But it has still been a blistering quarter. Goals from Brodie Holland, 2 to Nick Davis, 1 to Anthony Rocker and 1 to Josh Fraser. Whilst for Melbourne, David Neitz is there all alone. It's quarter time. Collingwood are 5-4, 34, leading Melbourne 1 goal to 8.
Have they? They missed a few opportunities, but they haven't been forward too often and without much conviction.
Away Woden is out of the centre. I think it's a good move. They've pushed him forward where kicks are of more a premium, particularly if they go through.
34 plays, 8 going into the second quarter. O'Brien wins it after White won the tap out. Lucuria sends them up towards the half forward line. Collingwood into attack once again. Danger here because Davis had it, lost it, so too did Fraser. Holland goes to ground, feint for the free kick, doesn't get it, and Melbourne has a wall of players led by McDonald who'll get them out of the immediate danger zone. Only as far as Richardson and co. He couldn't take it, but it doesn't matter because he's got support in Freeborn, who kicks to the half forward line. McKee puts it down the throat of Holland. He puts them inside 50 once again. Malloy lurking dangerously, surrounded by red and blue, but he shoveled it out the back door towards Rocker. That was excellently done. Brodie Holland's going to go for goal.
Gee whiz.
In fact, Lucuria it was. I think I said Brodie Holland. Lucuria it was, dashing clear. Look at him here. And another opportunity.
It's never been his
going
strength as it kicking for Paul Lucuria. He does get it a lot of times, but that was a one which will give him a nightmare or two tonight.
Just a couple of goals to Lucuria for the season so far. Wide again to the outer side. Melbourne, if they can get perhaps the first 1 or 2, are still right back in this. Whelan in towards half forward. Trying to run through was Scott Thompson, had it and then lost it. Bruce flicks it out to Neitz. Here's a go for Melbourne as David Neitz kicks his second.
Well, it was running play from Melbourne. They got the ball from their full back line pretty convincingly. This kick wasn't all that flash. It was a kick, a bit of almost a hit and hope job, but they hit the pack hard and finally they just forced it through. Handball came out from Bruce to a running Neitz. There's nothing convincing about their forward play, in fact their general play at the moment.
As we discussed in the first term, the curious miss gave Melbourne the key to their goal. Length of the ground. And Neitz with the left foot bouncing it through. 35-14. Demons needing the next one. White knocks it forward. McKee hand passes back. Lockyer alongside the centre circle goes down towards half forward. Here comes Davis. Back to goal about 75 metres out, working the ball close to the boundary line. Whelan, what was he thinking? He went straight at Davis, who found the ball. Whelan was in the front row. Davis the centering kick. They come from all directions. Wheatley stood his ground. Melbourne player in trouble, Brown. Malloy did well. Goes looking for Fraser. Trying to dodge a tackle. He was in midair. Goes to ground with a footy. And the umpire Sheehan, most experienced, wants to bounce it.
Well, he's a good player, is Nick Davis, and he kept his eye on the ball as Whelan tried to take him and put him into the smoker's stand there.
He was left burnt. Battle on the 50, whistle and a free kick to Collingwood. Fraser, I think, taken high and held quite a while. One or the other. McDonald can't believe it.
Well, one thing we know is distance will not trouble him. From exactly the same position as David Neitz had a shot earlier, this is what happened. And that, in no uncertain terms, is the hammerlock.
Yes.
Bit of left to right here, boys, as you mentioned before, Jared. Very gusty. See how he goes with this one.
As a result of the high tackle, a lot of left to right on that. Way out to the right. Sneaks in for a behind.
There's a lot of local wind around his boot area. Dennis just blew it straight off the boot.
Michael Malthouse would not be happy. They're squandering so many chances. I suppose they should be 3 or 4 more goals on their total. Not forthcoming, so good news for Melbourne supporters. Wheatley, who is a long kick, taking plenty of time, aided by the breeze this time, goes directly down the middle. White is the target, went up with one hand while Woden came quickly. Spinning into trouble, O'Brien got in, the hand pass comes up towards the wing, play goes on. This is Will, and he got it from Uze across to McDonald. Anthony McDonald away now, kick it long. Well, he goes in short, that's okay. Well, Woden, the barest of stats so far, his first possession. There goes the kick meantime. I think it's missed from Thompson. Or has it? The goal umpire gets the all clear now. It's a goal.
Well, they've simply just made the best of their opportunities. Scott Thompson got a goal. Neitz got a goal. They've had 2 genuine opportunities, the same as Collingwood. In fact, Collingwood's had 3 opportunities to kick goals, and they have yet to register one.
All of a sudden back to a 16-point margin. Goals to Thompson and Neitz. White wins it down the throat of O'Brien, however. Little toe poke, probably only gathering a couple of metres, but McDonald sends Melbourne going forward again. Woden starting to break the shackles. He's getting a stiff. He goes for the doctor, and here come the Devils! The Brownlow medalist is back. First kick for the day for Shane Woden, but that will fire the D's up, I'm sure. 4-2 plays 5-6.
Interesting ruck setup. They had both McKee and Fraser in there. One ruckman coming from either side. White didn't know which way to go, but they got it out pretty quickly, and Woden was good enough to get onto his preferred left foot, and that was a great kick and a fair bit of relief there in the message to the Melbourne members. Just sharing it the moment with them, Sandy.
Indeed he was.
His first kick was some kick. Shane Woden. 5-6-4-2. Umpire Ellis to bounce it down.
Collingwood have responded by putting Dimatina in the forward pocket, trying to drag Woden away from the play.
Lock his kick inside the 50. Big lift! Tarrant over the top. What a mark! Could well be the mark of the year, that one. Chris Tarrant. Huge leap. Came down the front of the pack as if it were a waterfall.
Well, news just in from London. The royal decree has it that this is definitely the mark of the year. Haven't seen anybody up that high for some time, Dennis. That is a cracker.
Aisle driven as he landed. The full weight of Nicholson on top. What an exciting talent. Interesting too, back in the centre circle. Again, we saw McKee and Fraser flying against White. So real gamble. One virtually was like the teaser stallion.
Well, I haven't seen anybody get up that high at the MCG since Gary Ablett took that spectacular mark. Well, it was close enough. Peter Moore also leapt in that pocket.
This one by Tarrant was a mark for the ages. We'll see that again and again. Spectacular. He'll kick from 35 metres out. And bear in mind, after the mark, he did kick a goal.
Oh, that was just unbelievable. Well, no matter what the result today, no matter what happens, everybody, 50-odd thousand people here, will go to work on Monday or to school and say, I was there, I saw it. That was a ripper.
Oh,
cop that.
That would hurt.
He's been threatening to do something extraordinary. He's done a lot of special things through the year.
The umpire's talking to the two ruckmen in the middle of the ground, maybe throwing the ball up, or
No, they'll be questioning whether or not.
Who's running interference for whom?
Yeah. I see. Great mark, eh, boys?
Yeah.
Even the Melbourne supporters are clapping that one.
I'm not sure what the umpire is actually talking about here. This is just using the rules to your advantage. I mean, there's no difference between whether Josh Fraser's a ruck rover or a rover, and if they ball it up inaccurately, anybody can take the tap out.
Has he insisted only one can fly? I think he has.
It was Lockyer and Johnson, however, who got it down to the forward line. Melbourne defence being tested again, and it's Wheatley off to Nicholson.
If he has, he's inventing or he's interpreting the rules.
Uze,
himself.
the boundary line is there for Adam Uze. Chris Tarrant in the thick of things once again.
Ice still in his hair.
What a grab. And it's got to take the wind out of Melbourne's sails, doesn't it, after they'd kicked 3 goals and looked to be storming back into this game. Now there's a tackle too high. Lockyer has the free kick and he's just outside 50.
And the rain's heavier now, Sandy, so...
Too high.
Yep, pretty crude. Lockyer from 55. In towards the square. Rocker is there. Tarrant is there. He didn't try and mark that time. He could have.
Anticlimax.
He went for the fist away. Here's Licuria bending it back in towards Malloy. The one-hander from the D9. He will go back and kick the goal. And Collingwood steady. Malloy gets his first.
Just touched, I think. No, he came over the mark.
Over the mark.
Came over the mark. He was going to pay 50, but the goal counted. And Jared Malloy just showed his incredible strength here. He just holds him out. And the skill was there also to drag it in with the one. One-on-one, those one-on-one contests in the forward line are going all Collingwood's way. And that is why they dominate on the scoreboard.
Jared Malloy coming off 26 possessions last week, including 9 marks. Watch it again in the centre then. Still the two big men. McKee is at 2 o'clock. Fraser at about 3. Tapped it down. Lockyer. And gained about 10 metres. This is Godfrey. He got it from Simmons. Goes to Ward. McDonald's been good. Anthony McDonald stopped. Well, he stopped for too long. Bearing down was Malloy holding the ball. There isn't that sort of time. McDonald beat 2. Malloy arrived quickly and in ill humour. Malloy chips it up towards the half-forward flank on the lead. Fraser, the jack of all trades this afternoon.
It's going to need clarifying. We saw Thompson and O'Farrell in the ruck against Stephen King on Saturday.
O'Brien the fumble. A lot needs clarifying in footy at the moment. On all fours as Woden shoveled it back. McKee, hurried kick by Johnson. Davis tries to get there in time, couldn't. It was a certain goal. Had it sat up, it didn't. Testing time. Schwartz in the background there. Off, unlikely to be back.
13, just over 13 minutes remaining in the first half. James McDonald. Again, giving Demons a little scare. Clement seemed to lose it. So too did McDonald. Fraser spearing it towards Lane. Skis probably 4 or 5 metres. Deft little tap by Rocker, perhaps a little too cute. Clement goes to ground again and they've got him parcelled up there. Eventually it does come out and Melbourne may get the opportunity to put something down towards the forward line. This is Robertson. One out duel. Well done. Great body work by Neitz. And he's playing a lone hand down in the forward line.
Great bump in the centre from Collins, wasn't it? Really hard at it.
I think, I think you mentioned it though, Dennis. They were just over possessing the ball and finessing, but that's exactly what Melbourne needs. They've had no contested marks in their forward line until that one. They've had just 3 in total. Collingwood's had 5 contested, 4 uncontested, 9 in total.
Neitz for his 3rd goal.
Missed.
Gee.
Now, just on David Schwartz, boys, just an update. Looks like he won't be back on for the rest of the game. He just can't seem to get going at the moment. The doctors say they've got a heavy knock in his buttock there, as we mentioned and we saw. So, bad news for him.
4-3 plays 7-7. Loney brings it into Freeborn. Here is the dashing Loney. If he doesn't look like John Gould, I'll go he. Loney towards centre wing. Clement. Robertson steals it, sneaks away from Wakeland. Ambitious as he tries to have a bounce in these slippery conditions. Rain continuing to fall. Lockyer is feverish as he asks the question. All to no avail.
I agree with you, Sandy. He looks incredibly like John Gould, except when he kicks. I think he might have Ragsy Gould covered in the kicking department.
Here's White again. 49 plays 27. Collingwood by 22 points. Wakeland having a spell. White wins it over Fraser. Smashes down towards half forward. Little tap. McDonald couldn't take it. Clement provides the tackle and locks it up just outside the Melbourne 50.
Geez, Clements has been handy for the Magpies, hasn't he? Just the way he attacks the ball and also his kicking around the ground.
I think the face of David Schwartz there tells a story too, Dipper. His day is over, and a sad one when he looks back on his 150th. Bit of jostling going on between Anthony McDonald and Johnson. Fraser. Johnson tried to go through, may get another opportunity. He pounces on that ball.
Tell me about the form of Andrew Leoncelli too, Gerard. He must be playing poorly.
I think it's really that he did miss a couple of weeks with injury, and they've just been using him sparely off the bench in that couple of weeks coming back. But the way the scoreboard looks, if you're going to use him sparingly, you'd probably like him to be out there at the moment.
Fraser, well done to Clement. To the outer side, the race is on. Lucuria and Uze. In the end, a no contest with the boundary line win. 22 points the margin. 11 minutes remaining in the first half.
I mean, as much as it would hurt, but Shane Woden, he's really giving them nothing on the ground. He's had 2 possessions. He's kicked 1 brilliant goal. They need some more drive through the middle of the ground, and Leoncelli is one that could give it to them.
Bruce to Uze, his 12th possession, bending it back, not enough, out of bounds on the full. Had 36 possessions last time these sides met, including 24 in the second half. It's been busy so far, beating Lucuria.
And one clear way of breaking a tag is to drag the bloke who's getting tagged from the ground, or stick him on the half-back flank, or do something. But at this stage, it's just not working for Melbourne.
Freeborn up towards the wing. Tarkin Lockyer. Lockyer goes wider still. Fraser around the outer side wing, kicks down towards right half forward, pitches obligingly for Rocker, little shimmy, hand passes towards the half forward line, taken by Lane, feeds it back, covering some ground was Fraser. Wow. Was he holding the ball? Yes, he was. Melbourne's free. Good tackle laid by Whelan. They have paid a throw. Whelan comes across to White. Melbourne looking slightly better. They need the next goal. Ward has to wait a while, gets to him eventually. 7-7, 4-3. Ward at half-back, goes in short. Brown miscues with a kick down towards right half forward. Clement close to the boundary line. That was predictable. Takes it out.
Just having a look at Shane Woden, he's doing an incredible amount of running, but he's not getting in near the contest enough. When you're being tagged, he's got to become the initiator, the first possession winner. And he's running to link up, and he's just being missed by his teammates on the roundabout.
The McKee hand pass is good to Lockyer. He kicks back towards centre wing. Fraser contesting 2 against 1 there, and takes it over the line. Lockyer, 19 possessions, and still not half time. Good first half by him. An arm wrestle with the throw in. Malloy, he's a long way from home. Got a hand to it, but that was all. Flicked round the body by Scott Thompson, gaining 25 metres before running it through the interchange area, forcing another throw in.
Beautiful, Dip, beautiful.
Never lost it. You've never lost it, Dipper.
Never had it.
The Melbourne runner has been out to O'Woden. I'm sure he's saying to him to push off that half-back line and try and just come through with the football.
White to McDonald. Couldn't get a crack at it. Thompson is in there to help him. But it's the Pies who'll come away towards Ben Johnson.
Ooh.
Johnson to O'Brien. Had to go, and he did, and he's beaten a couple. But it's coming back. O'Brien can't believe it.
Well, he's right. It didn't go out.
We call that out of bounds.
He's a lot closer than we were, but...
Oh, no. And 60,000 fans have just had a look at it as well. O'Brien applies the tackle. Freeborn. Gee, he got through some heavy traffic there. He gives it to Malloy from a standing start. He pumps it high and long up towards that potent forward line. Nicholson under the pump gets the hand pass away. It's back again to Woden. Woden just gets his kick in time. The diving mark. It's going to be paid, but gee, it's scary stuff in defence for Melbourne at the moment as they grimly try and hang on to this game. Thompson's kick goes back towards the centre. Maybe now Uze can set something up. Wheatley drops perhaps what he should have taken, but he's got time to recover. Gets it across towards Godfrey. He looks to the forward line. David Neitz in front spot. Couldn't take the mark. The hand pass is shot across towards Beams. He looks in towards full forward. Bruce was there, says it's sail over the top. And there's a behind that goes on the board for Melbourne.
And the Collingwood runner's going out to to Anthony Rocker. And I'm sure he'd be saying, look, your body language is as if we've got this game wrapped up and it's in our control. Let's get some more urgency back into it. We've got a chance to really put this side away in the next 10 minutes. And we've got to play like it's the last 5 minutes of a grand final, not as if we're in control.
Fraser takes the mark. Gee, Melbourne have got some players who've got a lift. Gergich, one kick. Green, one hand pass. Woden, 3 possessions. Bruce, 3 hand passes and just 1 goal between them. Lockyer passes Woden. Down towards the half-forward line once again. Davis working hard. Lockyer is there, so too is Malloy. Thompson tries to sneak out the back door and is eventually successful. Here goes Loney. With him also is James McDonald. McDonald gets claimed. Tries to fling it wide. Looking towards Beams. Freeborn is right there with him. Beams goes again. And away this time over the line. On the full. Melbourne in trouble as Collingwood hits back. Don't forget you can get all the scores of all games and all statistical information on i7sport.com.au. Tarrant wants 2 marks of the year in the one day.
He had it too.
He almost took it.
He goes again. Yeah.
This is
His
like
second effort was fantastic.
The Chris Tarrant show is appearing as we speak at the MCG.
Oh, the first one was so close.
Oh, no, which one are we going to look at? Very.
What a kid.
That was so close to a mark. Now he's taken this one. And like his other contender for mark of the year, he's capped it off with a goal.
Prodigious talent.
Tarrant. As they would say in Tokyo.
Yes.
What a Tarrant.
He's all of that.
Well, you'll be happy,
Crowd's still
Dennis.
buzzing up there.
Leon Shelley's on the ground. You'll be happy. And here's the second of 2 great attempts in the last 30 seconds from Chris Tarrant. Let me confuse there, Sandy. Didn't know whether to go with the Tokyo or the Melbourne version.
White decisively done it. Thompson. Quick reply upcoming. Long kick. Let it go. Juggled on the line. Play on's the call. The decision was the wrong one. The behind is forced.
The blood rule was used just then on Anthony McDonald, and Leon Shelley's on now.
Okay, Bruce, I think, made the wrong decision there. It's always easy to second guess. Holland comes off. Leon Davis is on the ground. Loney, meantime, kicks off. 8-7-4-5. McKee. They're kicking off with precision. Clement around the outer side. Dimatina, forward of the wing, spots a man. Goes towards Tarrant. Cleared him that time. Well, needs to be high to clear him. taken by Wheatley, gets a hand pass away. Woden needs a kick, gets a hand pass instead. Wheatley scrambles a kick around the outer side. It's coming back. Clement looks towards the middle, floats down towards the pocket. Watch him again. Didn't touch it that time. Collins, good tackle though, Tarrant. Got him down, could be holding the ball. The umpire decides no. Now, the umpire on the other side there, we were looking from the middle back. Umpire Sheehan was behind the man on the ground. Otherwise, I think that would have been paid as holding the ball. Collins limping now. Melbourne with some real problems. Uze was limping moments ago. He does seem to be okay. Woden goes up, knocks it down. Collingwood surrounding the footy. O'Brien, high ball. Davis up very early. Loose ball at the back. Whelan gets back, gets the hand pass away. They'll run it out. Beams goes in short. Taken by Thompson. Thompson forward of right half back. Kicks it up towards the wing. Good mark. Robertson.
So just a couple of passages of play from Melbourne to suggest that they're not completely out of this, but
5 minutes remaining in the half. Bruce appeared to be interfered with. Gets a kick down towards full forward. The Loney hand pass is good, however. Collingwood are out of trouble through Preston, Giacomo, and O'Brien can run. He gives it across towards Richardson, who lopes up towards centre wing. Looks up towards right half forward. Now the speedsters are in this vicinity.
Davis will get the free kick.
Davis, I think, was looking around at the umpire to see if he could go on.
Whelan thinks he's going to get it, but he clearly infringed on Davis.
Yep.
That high flying is contagious, isn't it?
It is.
And Davis will look down towards that area now. Rocker, Tarrant, McKee's drifted down there, and don't forget Malloy.
And Neon Leon, I think he sees himself as able to compete in the high flying stakes.
Well, Malloy's the flyer this time, and it's slammed over the back from behind.
Good to see Tarrant after those spectacular marks still offering an honest lead there. He's not hanging back just wanting to take the big hang. He was coming on the lead and left it for Malloy.
Woden to bring it back in. A quiet day for him so far. At half-time, incidentally, we'll be looking with Jared Healy, not only at this weekend's round, but just where everyone sits at the halfway mark of the season. So it could be very interesting. That's coming up at half-time.
Yeah, good kick.
O'Brien, that's clever.
Chizzy's been a good pickup, and Nick Davis has been a great import as well. In the last 2 or 3 years, they have just their recruiting has been really accurate, and they've picked up a couple of players that are going to be around for 200 plus games, and I'd reckon plenty of finals, and it may well be starting this season.
Nick Davis has 2 goals to his name, both of those in the first quarter. And a chance to add more pain to Melbourne as they approach half-time. But he's pushed that right across the face.
What would you say, Jared? 5 or 6 eminently gettable goals they've missed?
No, they could have easily had this game wrapped up.
They've kicked 8, 9, and they've had 2 out of bounds at least on the full.
But not hard shots.
No, they've been very gettable. And I think you made the point, Dennis. I was thinking it myself that the one thing that could kill Collingwood is if everybody now goes ahead and thinks it's time to try and take mark of the year like it's kick to kick. Chris Tarrant's got that award. I think the one that Mick Moldhouse is more interested in is just the 4 points.
Yeah. Paul Wheatley's kick out was very disappointing, and it's going to open the door for Collingwood again, although not with
there's
a kick like that.
Another classic skill error that weren't in their game 20 minutes ago.
Davis, here he is. Neon Leon. It's high. It's towards Rocker. Tarrant at the back. Rocker in front. Couldn't take the mark. Davis is pouncing on it once again. He's just come onto the ground, and he's looking to make up for lost time.
Anyone who's played footy knows about those packs. There would be a lot of grunting and groaning in there, Joe, wouldn't there?
Yes, and spectators there from Carlton and also Brisbane. There's Lee Matthews, Johnny Worsfold,
Gabby Allen. Yeah, I reckon Chris Tarrant would have been a pretty scary figure at kick to kick in the schoolyard.
All down the other end.
Uze can't get clear of Lucuria. That's an excellent tackle. And he's kept the ball in the vicinity. We've got another thrown as we approach half-time.
What's been great about it is that we haven't seen too many pack marks this season, and they've been on display here today.
Very exciting. Boundary thrown out his side. White and Fraser. Over the top, Fraser. Melbourne need a late goal. Thompson, he's been busy, throws it on the boot. It wanders forward of the wing. Robertson gave a contest. He's outnumbered 3-1 and he's done brilliantly. Wow. Too high, says the umpire on Freeborn. He was very unlucky as he tried to force a passage to the footy. Freeborn gets the free, comes across the ground. Lucuria at centre half back. They're very well drilled, Collingwood. Prestigiacomo couldn't believe the space he had. 80 metres out, goes long. Davis from behind, doing well wheeling to knock it away. Slapped out of there by Neitz, close to the boundary line. Liam Kelly out of bounds on the full. McKee will take the free. Approaching half-time, just over 2 minutes to go. Stephen McKee. No doubt we'll hear more about that situation in the middle early in this term when McKee and his teammate Fraser were spoken to by the umpire. Woden in front of the pack, dragged down. It spills towards the boundary, pushed across by Wheatley.
I'm just not sure how the umpire can prevent it. They ball up more times than they'd like the ball on either side of the line, and anybody takes the ruck tap. So I'm not sure where they can prohibit somebody else from taking the knock.
It's a grey area. There's a lot of grey in this game. Wheatley, free kicks. Collingwood 16, Melbourne 5. Close to the boundary line, stretching. McDonald takes the mark. Originally delisted by Carlton. Andrew Leoncelli suffered a similar fate. Here's Ward. McDonald's been good this afternoon. Need more from Ward. Kicks inside the 50. In front, missed there by Robertson. Taken by Clement. Back towards the wing. Close to the boundary line. It takes a Collingwood bounce and runs away from Ward. So a boundary throw in.
28 points the margin as we approach half-time. Looking at the major possession winners, O'Bree's been very busy for Collingwood. 13 possessions. He'd have to be giving Buckley a nudge in the Club Championship Award, Jared, wouldn't he, at the moment?
Most definitely.
Davis. Into half forward. Look out, because here he comes again. Rocker came charging out. He had one in front and one behind. It mattered not. Distance won't be a problem. And in the last minute of the first half, again, he can hurt the Demons. 29 plays 57 as we speak.
Well, coming into the match, Sandy, we said that it was going to be the height of Collingwood's forward line that could kick them the winning score, and Melbourne just haven't had the answers, whether it be Tarrant or Rocker, who had a brilliant first quarter and he's had a serviceable second quarter. The mark figure is 42-27. Inside 50. We'll have that after this.
Rocker for his second goal, and he's kicked it. Four-goal quarter for Collingwood. It could have been considerably more as they move to 9-9, leading Melbourne 4-5.
Ben Beams is, I think it was Ben Beams, suggesting that he had a bit of it, but it was always going to be Rockers. He's taken a couple of steps forward in his career this year, Anthony Rocker, albeit probably taking one back to go forward a couple.
Problems for Neil Danaher, not only on the ground but also off the ground with injury woes. Tarrant has 2 goals for Collingwood, Nick Davis 2, and Anthony Rocker now has 2 goals with just 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Collingwood could be well satisfied with their efforts so far. O'Bree's kick up towards the half forward line, chopped off by Neitz. Woden having a black day. The D9 almost ran into his own teammate. Dimartina gets a hurried snap, needs to bend it back more, can't do so.
The free kick's been paid though, as there is a bit of a scuffle, and the free kick will be going to David Neitz. And well, the coach has finally accepted that no point having Neitz get Rikamortis up the other end of the ground. The game's being lost in his defensive area.
Leoncelli gets the hand pass away, but it is half-time here at the MCG.
Just those marks inside 50. Collingwood's taken 12 and Melbourne have taken 5, and the bloke who's taken probably 3 of the 5, Neitz, is now in their defence.
Big first half by Collingwood.
Just interesting too, talking about that rucking inside the centre square when they've restarted play. I was just thinking back to Richmond. Pre-season did the same thing, but under different rules, of course. So that's going to be a big talking point.
Half time, Collingwood 9-9-63, Melbourne 4-5-29.
Always a commercialist.
29 plays, 63. We're into the second half.
Fierce tackle.
Lockyer over the top.
I reckon at half-time, the Malthouse message would have been just back to basics. You've got this game not wrapped up, but if you just play basic, good, solid footy, keep to the game plan, then you're going to run away with a victory. I'm not sure what would have been said in the Melbourne rooms, but it wouldn't have been all that pleasant.
Bree Leoncelli. It is Andrew Leoncelli who is the last pikelet on the plate. And we'll have another bounce. Disappointing day for the Ox, David Schwartz. Nothing else to do but have afternoon tea. Leoncelli can't get clear. Spent considerable time on the bench in the first half.
Gergic's onto the forward line, Sandy. He's played a lot in defence, but onto the forward line now.
Free kicks have certainly been interesting, going the way of Melbourne, going the way of Collingwood, I should say. In fact, Melbourne just picked up a couple only in that second quarter. They picked up 4 in the first quarter, 2 in the second. Collingwood 17. Then again, the tackling has also gone strongly in favour of Collingwood, 26-13. So that in itself tells a story. Here's Johnson, Ben Johnson. Finally, they get it out of the middle, down towards the half-forward line. Davis and Co have been dangerous there. And the Melbourne defence, sadly, has been not itself today and a little lacking, and that tells the story. O'Brien takes the wayward kick and looks through his locks to the forward zone. Towards Tarrant, Fraser, Malloy and Co. No one there able to take the mark. Oh, McDonald's in trouble. He's in real trouble. Had it and lost it with the Woden hand pass a little wild. The door will open for Collingwood. Tarrant called to play on, kicks in towards full forward, and it's going to come back.
Drag it back because he paid advantage.
There was no advantage, wasn't it?
What about the push in the back to Whelan before that? Surely.
So it will come back to Nick Davis. That's where the advantage was called.
That was a free kick, but about 2 seconds before that, Whelan was pushed.
Should have got one.
Square in the back.
The worst thing is Nick Davis can kick a ball too, boys, so he'll certainly make the distance.
He's kicked 2, both of those at this end of the ground. He's kicking from 60 metres and is just away to the left for a behind to start scoring in the second half.
Sandy, I'll just give you the benches. Leon Davis, Patheris, Jukovic and Johnson for... I'm sorry. Wakeland, thank you. And for Melbourne, we've got Schwartz, of course, Beams, Collins and Godfrey. 2 of those boys unable to play.
Wheatley kicks off straight down the middle.
Big push out to White.
McKee. And in the back of White. Big roar from the Demon supporters. White goes out wide, intended for Uzo. Used his body pretty well. Took a terrible tumble, though. Driving the pack, or the twosome, is Lucuria. Sends play back towards half for 2 men. Unattended. Davis takes off. Well done by Whelan to get back, put some pressure on. Davis the centering kick. Great judgment, Lockyer. And he's marked about 30 metres out, slight angle.
Well, there's a piece in one of the papers only a couple of weeks ago that said that this kid is the bloke that you'd want if you have somebody kicking for your life at goal. He rarely misses, and he's kicked some big ones when it really counted most for the Pies this season.
I think I'd rather have my mum. Not very gifted, but she'd certainly care. Here's Lockyer.
10 goals, 5.
Fine insight into the committee family.
Kicks from 40.
I'll go with Tarkin.
Just sneaks it home, does he? Yes, goal. He'll do.
A Tarkin Lockyer goal. 10-10, 70. It's a 4-5, 29. And the Pies have just started where they left off. I reckon he heard that.
Brought the best out of him, you
he
think?
did.
I'll show him.
Wondering if Dennis's mother did.
Wasn't a bad player.
Cop this, Dennis Committee. There's a goal.
10-10, 4-5.
Just gone to the Encyclopedia of Australian Rules Footy. I can't see your mum's name mentioned anywhere, Dennis.
Okay, got me on a technicality.
White. 41 points they're looking at now, Melbourne. And White will have to do it all again in the middle. Andrew Leoncelli. Started with the Carlton reserves. White again, jostling with McKee. The latter takes it. The hurried kick was by Thompson. And Robertson takes the mark. It's not going to be paid. In opposition to Lane, it was touched. It's between centre and half forward in Melbourne's attacking zone. Praying for something. Can they get back into the game? White thumping it towards his half forward zone. Richardson came out, had it, then lost it, but then was able to apply the tackle, and it was a good one. Johnson, Lockyer, they're going to get out of trouble. McKee, Loney gives it across to O'Brien, and Shane O'Brien's away. Runners wide, one is Dimatina, pulls it back now, bending it long and wide, and scoring one behind.
Just had to do a bit more with that kick, Paul Dimatina. It was going to be a very low percentage shot at goal, and he had to get it to the top of the square, because as we've seen a couple of times already today, errant shots at goal that result in points can very quickly become goals at the other end.
21 effective scoring shots to 9.
Probably better off keeping your side in the contest, even if you don't end up with the point.
Let's remember there have been a couple of out of bounds on the fulls. McKee, he couldn't take the mark. He slapped it over the back trying to accommodate Clement. That's okay. He's got Licuria, who in turn goes short and again finds Dimatina. Dimatina wants to go short as well. Malloy's on the 50. One goal only so far to Jared Malloy. That was in the second term. This is a big bomb from 55. Rocker!
Well, they just lined up. Rocker was last in line, although he ended up at the front of the pack. He was the last on the scene. There was Fraser and Tarrant, and they were going to do the double act, as we've seen a few times, but Rocker just pushed in and started the third term the way he started the match, just taking a mark right in front of goal.
Seven marks.
He just hasn't been convincing as a defender, Troy Simmons.
Going for goal number 3.
Oh, cool.
Well, you actually saw him wobble on the way in there, Anthony Rocker. He didn't run in a straight line, and he ended up kicking it pretty awkwardly.
It should be over by now.
Yep.
10-12, 4-5. Currently a cool 13 degrees in Melbourne. Wheatley off his step, well, shows a lot of the ball to Collingwood. Dimatina gets a hand pass away. Davis goes to ground, though Brui, he's over the ball. Woden's in there. Not a bad result for Melbourne, I don't think. Ball up about 40 metres out.
Let's have a look at the run up from Anthony Rocker. Runs towards the right goalpost and then bends it across the body.
Wheatley's kick-off, not very good either. Rocker knocks it down. McDonald, who's tried hard, throws it on the boot outside the 50. It's coming back. Johnson's got it. Sends play back towards the kick-off line. Tarrant from behind. Neat's got a fist on it. Malloy scrambles at Goldwood, and it's a goal to Malloy. His second.
If in doubt, just stick it up in the air. It's very much like the way the Bulldogs played against the Crows on Saturday night, where they had a lot of tools down there and they thought they had an advantage in the air, and this is exactly what Johnson's done. If it wasn't Rock, it was Tarrant, so much so that Malloy's on the deck. Could be an avalanche. All the hallmarks of an avalanche.
78 plays 29 as the hole gets deeper for Melbourne. What can they do to get back into this game, or at least put some respectability onto the scoreboard? They've had to bring one of their aces, this is Cameron Bruce, one of their aces in Neats from one end of the ground to the other. That really hasn't done anything. O'Brien pushing back, Lucuria. The defence is strong. Tyson Lane, hand pass just goes astray. Now a chance for Melbourne. McDonald as he goes in towards the forward line once again. Richardson towards the line. Clement is right there with him, and they see it over in opposition to Russell Robertson. Quiet day for Robertson. Tackles as they stand at the moment in this game. 29-14, so Collingwood virtually doubling. Richardson to the line.
Amazing situation. I mean, the only guy who looked capable of kicking a goal in the first half was David Neats. I'd throw him forward, wouldn't you? I mean, 20 goals or 10. What's the difference? It's a losing margin.
Yeah, it's a fair point now. The game's all probably gone. Maybe Neil Dano is concerned about percentage. And it could take an absolute hammering the way it's going.
White unable to take the mark in opposition to McKee. Malloy is over the pack once again. Woden is there, but you'll hear the ironical cheers from the Melbourne members as they pick up another free kick. They feel they've been hard done by today. But Collingwood has been just too good. He goes in towards the middle. That possibly tells the story of the day. Fraser was legged, and it could prove a very costly turnover. Prestigiacomo goes long. Tarrant needs a kind bounce, but he's got Davis there as well. Davis left footer. One behind. A dreadful mix-up in the middle there between a couple of demons. Should have resulted in a goal to Collingwood.
Probably lucky that Fraser was blocked by his own man, because he was off and running. They had the fast break move going pretty well, and he would have chested Davis. He wouldn't have missed.
Wheatley back flying dreadfully early was Daniel Ward. You could hear Jared say in the back. Play goes on until it hits the boundary line. 50 points the margin after being 34 at half-time. White and McKee, Lockyer and Leoncelli, Uze and Lucuria down in front. Uze tries to slap it forward. Gains 15 metres or so, and Freeborn sees it over the line. Another throw.
Schwartz sitting on the bench. Collins knocked out of action too. And common mix this, because Collingwood dominating the air but looking much quicker. Boundary throw in just forward of centre wing for the Demons. White goes up, slaps it forward. James McDonald had it, lost it, made his move before he had the footy. Socket off the ground by McKee. Gains about 20 metres.
I think their pace has been one of the real hallmarks of their season to date. They troubled Essendon with their pace. They troubled Carlton with their pace.
Michael Malthouse has done a very good job.
I think they also troubled Port Adelaide. It was one of the standout features in that match over in Adelaide in the wet. They just were able to go with the skill and the run in the middle.
Clement pulling it back towards the attacking 50. Neats slips over, dives after the footy with desperation. Held to him by Davis. Downward Simmons. Picked up by Whelan. Somehow got through. Well played. McDonald, Neats in space, a rarity this afternoon for the Demons. He kicks it up towards the wing, 2-on-1. Well played Uze to Ward. McDonald, this is James McDonald, 70 metres out, his centering kick. They're pretty well manned up down there, but a good mark. Strong mark taken by Bruce. He won a one-on-one, another rarity. He's directly in front. Should kick a goal. It will be their fifth. Cameron Bruce puts it through. Much needed.
Well, it looked pretty good forward to the centre. It looked as if there was no cohesion whatsoever in the defensive area where they mongrelled the ball out, but finally they did get it out. And a deft little handball from Uzo set this one up. Uzo's been one who's held his own. Got plenty of the footy under duress. He's being tagged by Lucuria.
Not a happy day for the Melbourne boys at the moment. 44 points is the margin, and it looks as though the dreaded June hoodoo that Collingwood has suffered for some considerable time is going to be broken as Johnson takes it from Fraser, and they go up towards the half-forward line. Neats backing back, then decides to leave it because he's got support there, and it's Wheatley who comes wide towards the half-back line. McDonald to Woden. Woden's had a quiet day, but he looks up towards the left half-forward region. Goes over the top of the pack, and Robertson leads in the race. Well blocked, however. Excellent work by Richardson. Gives it across to O'Brien. Another one finds Malloy. He chips towards centre wing and Tarrant.
Really starting to put his extra numbers into defence now, Melbourne.
Tarrant thought about Clement. Clement then goes on to provide the shepherd. Tarrant's kick is a little astray.
And Melbourne are just doing a bit of a transitional flood, dropping their half-back line in centre line back into the defensive area. So Collingwood are going to have a different approach. Make sure they find targets on the way in.
Wheatley decides to change direction and goes to Neats. He's in two minds. Eventually heads to the outer side. Loney. Looks a class act. To half forward, O'Brien. Back to Loney, who could run on here. Back to O'Brien. They're picking up possessions at well here. Little chip in towards Rocker, and he takes the mark. 35 metres out on an angle that I don't know that he'll enjoy.
Well, Rocker just gave the lead, and he was good enough to just get that break on Troy Simmons, and this is good work because he's opened up the goalface, getting it to McKee. Brad Green, who has really struggled today, hasn't got near the footy. With 1-1, comes off the ground, and he's been replaced by Ben Beams.
Steve McKee playing his 8th game for the year, but looking for his first goal of the year. And he's got it. He has got it.
So it's back to 50 points, and geez, we don't say it too often in the third quarter, but the sting's already gone out of this match. We're just playing our time here. It's a really disgraceful scenario for Melbourne, and they have already, I think, conceded that they're not going to win this match. Trap for Collingwood is that they believe it.
Sometimes a loss like this can be a rallying point for a season. Other times, of course, it can be the death knell. Melbourne going without a whimper at the moment. Very disappointing. 12-13, 5-5. White hooks it down behind. Uze out of the middle, kicks it down towards half forward. Here's a chance for Gergich. Feeds the hand pass back, intended for Robertson. Chopped off by Lane. He's been handy. Kicks it out very wide. McDonald leads in the race. Johnson tracking him. McDonald's got the ball on the wing. Men towards the middle. That's ignored. Goes to White. White short. Beams. Despairing lunge. Took the mark. Back to White. Runner alongside McDonald. Anthony. Kicks inside the 50. Hangs a long time in the air. Uze comes back. Had it knocked away. Prestigiacomo played it well. Hand passes to the pocket. Lucuria will want his left side. Now he's got a problem. Lucuria hand passes towards the boundary. Prestigiacomo is taken across the line by Simmons.
Good tackle from Adam Uze. He was involved in the big fly, hit the deck, and was back on putting some pressure. Shane Wakeland spent a fair bit of time on the bench, and I suspect he's there simply because there isn't a likely matchup for him out in the ground.
Towards the boundary line. Holland. Lane. Chopped off by Woden. Goes towards the middle. James McDonald. Immediately the pressure's on, though. Clement got to him quickly. White gets a hand pass to Brown. Can go over the top to Wheatley. Malloy bearing down. Wheatley turns around. He's normally a long kick. This one floats down towards full forward. Falls at the back. Bruce off the ground. I think he's kicked his second goal of the term.
Well, just a couple of signs that Collingwood have just dropped off the desperation and in the intensity, and it's allowing Melbourne to get some half chances, including this one. Brad Green back on the ground. Brent Gergen coming from it, paying for that horrible handball.
Two goals this quarter to Cameron Bruce. 44 points is again the margin. Under 7 minutes remaining in the quarter. Over the head of Lockyer, only as far as Holland. However, he's got Molloy wide. Collingwood have been able to reply. Tarrant is a target and he's got him.
It's one of the best leads in the competition. He read that perfectly, and he pushed Nicholson away just at the appropriate time to get back in line with the footy. Let's see if we can get the body contact. There it is. Pushed off and took a nice mark.
Tarrant for his third. 45-degree angle, 45 metres. Coming back, but a little too late.
Richardson coming from the ground, and they're throwing Neon Leon to see if they can light up the forward line a bit, giving them that bit of spark.
More than a spark at the moment. Had some sort of fire lit underneath them. Nicholson in the back pocket towards centre wing. Woden may come over the top. He did, but couldn't take it. The Dimatina hand pass. Davis. Oh, crunch goes Dimatina once again. That time with Daniel Ward. McDonald sneaks clear into the middle, only as far as Johnson. Johnson off to O'Brien. O'Brien, clever little chip. Thought for a moment he was going to go for home, but then he's found Tarrant on the outer side, tucked in the pocket. Rocker is there as well, slung to the line. Melbourne will come away with a free kick. It's interesting to see who's missing for the D. Stephen Powell finished fourth in their best and fairest. Stephen Phoebe, Anthony Ingerson, Jeff Farmer, of course, Guy Rigoni, the Leoncelli lead, as you can see, up towards centre wing. Lockyer, quick to recover. Robertson gets it away quickly as he scooped it up down towards the half-forward line once again. The back was Holland. He couldn't take it. Collingwood with the numbers. Ward, a clash of heads. Ward is in trouble on the left of screen. He's down. Well, he's a tough nut. A little shake of the head, and he's ready to go on. Green was the other one. So the two teammates clashing. Really tells the story of their day. Holland couldn't take it. Loney is there, trying to get through with Scott Thompson. Locked up, going nowhere. And another ball up with under 5 minutes remaining in the quarter.
12-14, 6-5. Collingwood on top. And still a wrestle and battle. McDonald on the ground. Lucuria being held. The umpire decides to bounce the ball. Diving in there is Holland. Tackled by Leoncelli. Eventually it spills wide. Taken by Fraser. Lays it off to Loney. Loney on the burst goes short to Malloy. He's got the ball at left half back. Wanting it further afield is Lane. Shows a lot of it to Brown. Brown hit the ground running. Took the mark. Kicks to the pocket and Bruce. Man on in the middle is Anthony McDonald. That's ignored. Cameron Bruce, 2 goals in this term already. The only 2 for Melbourne. Sharp angle, but nothing to lose really by having a shot at this. (86 plays 41). Melbourne, the last few minutes, looking decidedly better. Misses to the far side. Cameron Bruce are behind. Of course, Collingwood may have just eased off marginally as well. Loney. His brother made his debut on Saturday for the Hawks. Dimatina, poor kick from Loney. Woden's got it 55 metres from goal, wants to go. Well, he had his back to the play when he made the decision. Kicks it straight to Loney. He really limited himself there, Shane Woden.
Oh.
Loney just got the ball across the lane in the opposite pocket. He drives it up towards the wing, reaching over the top. Rocker has been terrific. Rocker on the wing.
Call to play on now. And he does go up towards the 50. Put down another goal here for Davis as he strolls in on this very pleasant holiday Monday and kicks the goal. Nick Davis gets his third, and that was all too easy. 13-14 plays 6-6.
Well, it's a couple of nervous moments down in the defensive area there for Ryan Loney, but Rocket took a pretty fair mark and set this up. Good body work there. 2 Melbourne players getting taken out and one spare at the back. His name was Nick Davis. And he may well be a Republican, but he's enjoying this Queen's birthday weekend.
14 goals for the season now to Nick Davis. And that's probably the easiest one he's kicked for the year. Dean Laidley on the right of Mick Malthouse and Neil Danaher with his own set of problems. 92 plays 42. Continues to hover around the 50-point margin. Well, Lockyer couldn't take it, so O'Brien has a crack out of it out of the middle. And Josh Fraser, what an athlete he is, goes up towards the half-forward line, just a fraction too far for Leon Davis. And Melbourne should be able to bring it back towards centre wing. Strong mark going to be paid to Scott Thompson in front of Loney. Thompson to half forward with just a couple of minutes remaining. Ward appears to have recovered from that knock with Green. Loney to McKee, holds it for a long time before giving it to Licuria. In he goes to the middle. Davis is there once again. A chip wide. Fraser will go all the way. He's inside 50. He steadies, shoots towards goal and pops through behind. Wry smile from the goal umpire as if to say, my hat, Josh, I thought you were home. So did the Collingwood fans. It wasn't to be. 13-15 plays 6-6.
You can see the time remaining till three-quarter time. Just over 2 minutes. Margin was 34 points at half-time. Now 51. Wheatley has kicked in long, but generally Collingwood have had Melbourne's measure in what happens next. Wheatley tentatively that time sets it up. Simmons almost waiting behind McKee, roving the miss by 2 big men in front. Lockyer gets a hand pass, but there's a throw call. It'll come back and be a free kick, I think, to Ward, who's been disappointing. Just 9 possessions so far in an area Melbourne needed much more from. Short one out wide. Leoncelli. So the clock continues to run. Leoncelli, who started on the bench and spent plenty of time there. Some wrestling. Was Robertson being held? Yes, he was. Woden's got the footy. Advantages paid. Swings it back towards the middle. Knocked away by Freeborn. Charging through was Clement. Hand passes across half back. Pursues his own hand pass close to the boundary line. And out it goes. Was he pushed in the back? No. Boundary throw in right on the 50. James Clement enjoying life now, the former Docker. Has found a home in this defence for Collingwood and playing very good football. 13-15, 6-6. Tossed in. Neither ruckman touched it. Fraser, second effort. Bruce, who's been lively in this term, gets it away to Green. Green fires at goal. And I think he's missed. He has.
Loney as we count down towards the final minute of the term. This time going for distance straight down the middle. McKee was there. Davis at the bottom of the pack, so too Woden. Dimartina's got him absolutely locked up. Somehow the ball comes out the back door and goes to Davis. It's a high kick by Leon Davis to the outer side of the ground. An opportunity now for Johnson. First one way, then the other. Gives it back to Davis. He's just having a look at his options downfield. Spots Rocker. And well spotted too on the 50. Lockyer Tarrant, Malloy and Holland all drop back to the square. They shouldn't be required. Rocker is a long kick and he's going to be kicking from probably 54 metres.
He's better suited these kicks too, Sandy, these long ones and those ones in front of goal.
10 marks to Anthony Rocker. That's what lies ahead of the big man. He's had a good day so far, and his good day is continuing. Well done, Dipper. Spot on.
Well, great goal it was. Lots of problems there for the Demons. And Nick Davis, he just continues to improve as the season goes on. And he has found Anthony Rocker, who's bombed from just outside of the 50. Brilliantly called by our man on the boundary line. And the lead continues to expand.
56 points with seconds only remaining. Collingwood didn't have a poor percentage anyway. It was well over 100, almost 110.
Melbourne's is the worry, Sandy. I think they were just a tick over 90 coming into this match. I'll get our statistician to work out what would happen if this was the final margin.
Here's Davis again. Here's the statistician says, thank you for that little challenge.
Yes, where's the calculator?
Fraser can hang on to it because we've got 1 quarter to go. 3-quarter time. A 5-goal quarter for Collingwood and a couple from Melbourne.
Now down
never really threatened at half time. Collingwood led by 34 points. They now lead by 56. Collingwood 14-15 99. Melbourne 6-7 43. The number 33 for the Western Bulldogs, Brian Royal, speaking there with the Dipper. Here we go, final quarter. The margin is a whopping 56 points. Melbourne will be hoping to reduce that, and Collingwood will be taking no prisoners. They'll want to finish on an absolute high. Uze out of the middle for the Demons, goes down towards the half-forward line. Clement read it well, takes the mark. It's called a play on now and gives it off to Lane. He's had a pretty good day too, goes wide to Johnson on the outer side. Can't quite get there and keep it in. He does. He's done well.
The Magpie goal square is the only part in the ground where the sun is affecting.
Jukovic's having a run. Here's Johnson again. Into half forward, spearing the pass to Rocker.
Jim Malloy did well. Little pick.
11 marks to Anthony Rocker. 12 kicks, 4 hand passes. You could just see Malloy just going out of picture, doing the bullocking work and protection work.
And Johnson's had a few kicks since he's come on too. Hasn't had a lot of game time, but he's got 10 possessions. Kicked the point, set up a couple of goals.
Well, Rocker's kicked a goal in every quarter so far.
And the first one in 2.
From 46 metres, the trend continues.
Along with the tradition, Sandy. I think the tradition isn't continuing at the same stage this year, is it?
Different stage next year.
Moving it out to what, November?
Correct.
I couldn't find a couple of weeks off for February for you to. Anyway, I'm sure it will continue in the same emphatic style as has been. But Anthony Rocker, well, we said his career had taken a couple of forward steps this season. I think he's proven that again today. Good game from the big fella from the Pies.
So starting the day, Anthony Rocker 11 goals for the season, but 6 of them in the one game against Carlton, round 6. 4 today though. He's been pivotal on the forward line. Holland to Jukovic. He's away around the outer side. It's all Collingwood with the kick inside the 50. Nicholson did well, backed himself against the footy, and then sold Willen with a terrible strife. The hand pass wandered towards the pocket. Davis. Simmons did well, got it to Leoncelli under pressure. He kicks it very high. It's coming back though. Fraser, forward of the wing. 15-15, 6-7.
Good stats
Fraser.
for Ruckman.
Yeah.
10 kicks, 11 kicks, 8 handballs, 9 marks, 1 goal. Should have been 2.
Jukovic short. This is O'Brien. Man that size playing virtually as a ruck rover on occasions. So often after he's competed in the air, goes on the ground. Great mark taken there by Tyson Lane.
Well, he's always been able to take a grab, Tyson Lane. His time at the Bulldogs and also here at Collingwood, he's been played in defence at times. He's gone forward and kicked some goals. This is a tough one.
A sharp angle, and it needs to go the best part of 50. He'll kick from right on the line. Lane gives it a ride, likes it off the boot. They've got another one. Goal Collingwood.
Well, they've kicked the first couple of goals of this quarter, and I think any hopes that Neil Danaher had that this was they could have some sort of mini revival here have now been dashed. And now they've just got to hope that it's not just a complete embarrassment. They really need to find something here, the senior players for Melbourne.
And Patheris on for his first run today.
Tyson Lane becomes the 9th goal scorer for Collingwood. Good to see Rupert Patheris getting a run. Fraser.
Good knockout.
Johnson, well done, yes. Johnson gets caught, however. They're still surging it down towards the 50. Look at Dimartina trying to hold that ball up there. And he does well.
Joe, it's been a real team effort by the Woods today. I mean, obviously no Nathan Buckley, which is a positive sign for the young fellas to say, hey, we can win without our champion.
Yeah, no, I think it would have been huge motivation coming into this match, Dipper, and they're going to enjoy the result.
Another ball up.
They're a side that has just continued to grow right throughout the season, from round one where they almost knocked off Hawthorn, and I think people thought that Hawthorn played poorly that day, but in fact I think we now with hindsight know that Collingwood were a far better side and had developed incredibly over the summer months.
Ball up number 3.
And if they can just hold it together, they should be able to get enough victories to compete in the first final series for many, many years. Centre clearances, Melbourne 7, Collingwood 16. O'Bree's got 4. Lockyer and McKee have got 3 apiece.
Fraser was trying to find Davis, not successful. Comes out the way of Scott Thompson for Melbourne. He kicks up towards centre wing, but chopped off again by Lane. He looks in towards the half-forward region. It's all Collingwood here. Brady Holland says, I'm going to have a crack at this. 45 metres out. He goes for goal and bounces it through. Good shepherding by Tarrant. Holland gets his second. He booted 1 in the first term, and Collingwood has its 17th. It's a cricket score now, 17-15 to 6-7.
Yes, it's a cricket score, all right. And hasn't been quite as entertaining as last night's ton by Ricky Ponting, who I think was inspired by the Kangaroos when they trounced Freo, and he went out and made a great ton last night.
17-15 to 6-7. Brody Holland, one of 3 former Dockers playing for Collingwood today. Hooked down by Simmons. Johnson trying to push it forward. O'Bree wrestled to the ground. Holland again inspired. Swings it out wide into the path of Jukovic. How will it bounce? Well enough. Jukovic tracks it out towards the wing. Confronted by McDonald. Comes back towards the middle. Patheris, who was on the rookie list for the Dockers, goes by hand. Loney across the ground. O'Bree. Johnson further afield. We'll get a Johnson now, 60 metres out. Rocker wants it short. Rocker's got it short. He'll kick it his 5th. This is simply a clinic. Begs the question, can Melbourne recover from this? They have been mauled.
On the other hand, the Pies have been pretty impressive. It's been a great weekend of international sport, many, many highlights. This isn't one for Melbourne fans, but for Collingwood fans, I'm sure it would have been all that they could have hoped for, plus more. And Sandy, congratulations to you. Your horse flesh, getting over the line again yesterday.
Back-to-back wins, nothing bigger.
Very impressive form.
Anthony Rocker Trying to bend it back right to left. It hangs out to the right and behind. Increases the lead. Helps the percentage. As Collingwood march on. It's been a problem from the outset. Melbourne not helped by that man in the foreground going down in the opening minutes of the game after cleverly deflecting a ball to a teammate for a goal. And since then, it's gone from bad to worse. Adam Uze barking the instructions, told to hurry up by the umpire, something they should do in field play as well. If we're going to deal with flooding and what have you, the umpires should encourage the players to kick it quickly. Here's Johnson, gets a hand pass inside the 50. Dimartina throws the ball across towards Big Josh, who paddles it down towards the pocket. Bounced off Fraser, back into the congestion, falling to the ground McKee. He's pretty nimble too. O'Brien went down, got it to Holland, tackled by Woden, jarred out of there. Jukovic came in, socket off the ground by Uze. In front Johnson, was pushed in the back, must get a free kick. Will advantage be paid? No. Jukovic running away with the footy. It has to come back to Ben Johnson, who'll take this kick from just outside the 50.
And he has a big enough kick to have a decent crack at this. I think Uze stumbled as much as anything.
We were talking yesterday about flooding, Jared. I think we've got to lengthen the distance of a legal kick. We've talked about that before. Yeah. Umpires have got to whistle players to kick it quickly, and I think they've got to look at the interchange bench as well, as the kick comes from about 48 metres out. That's a beautiful kick. Lovely kick by Johnson.
Yes, the flooding debate continues to rage. It hasn't really detracted from this match too much.
No.
I think Melbourne have used it sparingly. Collingwood rarely at all. But there have been some moments where it's been used enthusiastically, I think it's fair to say, by some coaches to the detriment of the spectacle. You can't expect coaches to sort it out.
That's right. The AFL's got to reclaim its game, doesn't it?
Johnson becomes Collingwood's 10th goal kicker. Melbourne has only 4.
Must be an exciting place to be if you're a young kid at Collingwood right now. They're on the march. There's plenty of great footy ahead of them, and they've got some very talented players, including those
Rocker and O'Brien up towards Davis and co. Couldn't take it cleanly. He started on the bench today. Leon Malloy started on the ground. They're both there in the thick of things at the moment. Defending grimly is Nathan Brown as he finds the line. Well, you talk about young lists. They've got the youngest list, I think, in the competition at this very moment.
Brown's hurt too, I think, a shoulder.
I think the question out of this, Dennis, is how wounded are the Demons? Is it a mortal one?
Uze towards half forward. Collingwood's tackling has been fierce right from the outset today. Loney does some good shepherding. Davis is wide on centre wing. Gets taken up, but he bounces up very, very quickly and soccers off the ground. And the Collingwood fans love it.
So we'll get it back here. We'll get it back.
Rocker, sorry, Dipper, I thought you were having a bit of a chat. Brodie Holland just inside 50.
Leon Davis is fantastic there, was he, as you mentioned there, boys. He nearly got that kick off Rocker. He got up and ran at 50 metres.
As we speak, Dipper Woden off and Simon Godfrey on. There it is again. Just a little chip forward by Davis. And now Holland has the opportunity to boot his third. We could be looking at a 100-point belting here, gentlemen.
Well, Collingwood have got the break after this. They've got a holiday. Melbourne, of course, go to Brisbane. In fact, Brisbane come... It is a Melbourne home game in Brisbane. Work that one out. We have worked that out.
I think Brisbane will be fairly happy with that. That'll be the bottom line.
It's been a long weekend, but that one did throw me.
Couldn't do that.
We said by Woden off, and you just saw him there. Fraser takes the mark on the outer wing. In opposition to Simmons. Plays on straight away. They'll stop at nothing now, Collingwood. Look at the numbers here. Davis and Johnson. Johnson goes again. He loses it. Holland chips in once more. Holland for goal this time. Yes! Hey! He's got his third as Brodie Holland. There he is with Dimartina in the D9, and Collingwood has its 19th, 19-17 to a paltry 6-7 from Melbourne.
Well, it just continues for the Pies, and Johnson, well, he just overran it, but he was good enough to get the quick handball out on the recovery. And Brodie, he found the big sticks, much to his liking, for the third time this afternoon.
Some supporters, presumably Melbourne supporters, headed out the door. To put this in perspective, Collingwood have kicked 14 of the last 16 goals. 14 of the last 16. Incredible. 1917 6-7. White goes up, taps it down, spills across to McDonald. Still ferocious, the tackling from the Magpies. It was at the outset. They set the tone in the opening 10 minutes, and it still hasn't abated. Testimony to that, Anthony McDonald. Bounce alongside the centre circle. White and McKee. McKee's been good. For to draw. McDonald hooks it down towards half forward. Coming up to mid at Thompson. Forced away from his own goal. Still Thompson goes. Good chase from Jukovic. Well played Thompson. Hugs the boundary with a kick. In fact, puts it out of bounds on the full. Lane to the middle. Holland had to stretch. Got down low. In fact, it's coming back to Collingwood on the outer side. Wrong player took the kick. The Theorist now has got it. The lights really casting a glow on the MCG now. It was dark when play started. Temperature dipping to 12 degrees. Good mark taken by Tarrant, who certainly, if you missed it, took one of the marks of the season and perhaps the last decade earlier today. Down towards the pocket goes the kick. Gergic gets back. At least you will see it on the news. Ad infinitum, I'm sure. Jostling at centre half forward. McKee did well. Got it to Holland. Only as far as Nicholson. Nicholson swings it out wide. Leoncelli. Ward is on further down the ground. Leoncelli, well, some indecision really with a kick. Has kicked to a contest. Robertson, haven't seen much of him today. Advantage is paid. He was awarded the free kick. Ran back onto the footy. Runs to 50. Sharp angle. Tries to bend it back. Not even close.
Robertson's stats: 4 kicks, 4 handballs, and you're talking about putting it in perspective, Dennis. At the moment, the margin is somewhere in the Sandy, you worked it out for me, somewhere in the vicinity of 80 odd points. The highest ever winning margin between 87 points. Another great mark, but in 1916 you've got to go back to the highest winning margin of Collingwood over Melbourne was 109, so they are getting pretty close to that. In fact, it was 1919.
Davis, in the meantime, to centre wing, Neitz in front of Tarrant.
I'll leave the stats to you, Dennis.
The battle there. You've been close. White.
Is your mum any good at stats?
Nor kicking at goal.
Wheatley.
The point I was trying to make is you needed to be careful that Lockyer liked you.
Yes.
And 2 goes short. That's a stammering start at the moment. Gergic riding this all the way up towards full forward and marked on the last line of defence by James Clement. They're pretty miserly, Collingwood. They don't want to give away too much at all. So far in this quarter they've given away 1 behind. It's been all one-way traffic. As the round winds down, don't forget you can get the news on every match, the results, the ladder, and looking ahead too on the i7sport.com.au. And in the chat room tonight, Dermot Brereton. He's been busy. He's been here a couple of nights. So look forward to that. i7sport.com.au. Here's another behind conceded as Melbourne doubles its score for the last quarter. Joe Gutnick, well, you've just got to wonder the effect all this has had on the team.
I think they were struggling well and truly before this happened, Sandy, or the political dramas. I think it had potential to split the club. not sure it would be accounting for this sort of devastation.
Here's Tarkin Lockyer down towards Johnson, belted away by Uze. Tarrant is there as well. Uze goes for a second one in towards McDonald. He gets a hurried hand pass, but it's going to be okay towards Thompson. He goes even wider to Gergic. They look towards the half-forward line. Simmons was there, couldn't take it. Lockyer waiting down again, goes wide to the outer side. O'Brien gives a little ground to Freeborn, and he scoots away. He's a real little live wire. Freeborn on the outer side towards centre wing, and again finding Fraser, who continues to add to his impressive stats. It's 11 marks for Josh Fraser today. 12 kicks, 10 hand passes, and a decent old shove in the back. Chris Tarrant. Sends the Maggies in towards 50. McKee is there. Jeff White got a decent old ride. Woden. Oh, stolen by Loney. First one way, then the other. The chip wide. He wants Davis, and he finds him.
Had another great game, Ryan Loney.
He looks to come right across the ground towards Rupert, and Batheris takes the mark. 55 out. He in turn goes short again to Davis. Now he's inside 50 and he'll have a shot.
He just ran 40 metres to get that. Fantastic.
Well, the good thing for Collingwood is that so many of these young players like Davis are putting pressure on other players to hold their spot in the starting 18. Things looking very rosy for this young outfit.
You'd be delighted if you barracked for Collingwood simply with the cream like their young players in Fraser and Tarrant to watch for maybe the next decade.
Davis playing his 22nd game after crossing from the west. 5 goals to his name this year. And he won't add to that. Another kick that is wide. Malloy was a big fly. Did he take it just inside? He has. No. One behind. Well, they're taking everything from Jared at the moment. Marks went disappearing last week. The opportunity to score this week. 19-18. Over the head of Simmons. He recovers pretty well. Tries to flick it out, but Holland is there. He's ripped to the ground by McDonald, picked up by Prestigiacomo. Off towards McKee, couldn't take it cleanly. Tried to scoop it out, but the tackle was solid. Ball spills to ground. McKee and Co over the top. Dimatina is waiting there as well. And there will be a bounce with just under 6 minutes remaining in the match.
Listen to this roar. Josh Fraser coming off now for Richardson, but terrific game.
Generous applause. Part of the reason for that stat you just saw. Josh Fraser. Outstanding. And now a blood rule on the far side. Woden. That'll be a lonely walk. Unless they can patch him up over there. Oh. There'll be a few Collingwood fans between where he was and where he's got to get to. So Ward is on the ground. I think I like the old way better. Sure he does. Bounce on the wing. McKee and White. White wins that one. McDonald knocks it forward. Prestigiacomo stood his ground. Thompson gets it away to Ward. Ward kicks it down towards half forward. Green in front. That's a good mark. Not paid. Advantage. Yep. Can't be paid. He paid the mark. So Green, he could easily do the distance from here. He'll kick from about 55 metres out, but he is a prodigious kick. They need more from Brad Green, Melbourne. Seems to have all the tools, as they say. 19-18 to 6-9. He'll give this one a ride. Tugs it a bit right. Oh, big leap down there. Spectacular, Mark Robertson. Russell Robertson came from the clouds. Out of position, had the run, had to step around the goalpost to come at that one. And he's taken the mark and should convert here. Little check side. Well, that's out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. It didn't need so much, but the adrenaline was pumping after this.
Yeah, it was a brilliant mark, Dennis, but unfortunately he just took the wrong kick. It had to be the check side.
But it was a check side that lacked finesse. I think he did try a check side, didn't he? Or
I think he went to drop punt.
did he?
But
should check with us first. Across the goal face. Chance for Melbourne, taken by James McDonald. Taken on by Davis. Chips it in short. Ward should turn around and kick a goal. Well, now he's under pressure. Comes back to McDonald, who misses completely. It's like the Bermuda Triangle down there. Everything is attracted to that pocket.
Something about that pocket. And the percentages for those interested, Collingwood before today were 108.6. They're now 117.4. Melbourne before today were 98.8. They're currently 91 as the score stands at the moment.
You are a genius. You did that yesterday too. One eye on the game and you work those things out in your head. On the outer side, Rocker feeds the hand pass back. That was interesting. He was in the set position. Jurkovic got it across to Holland. Holland chips it up towards the wing. Richardson.
Melbourne have just 4 more minutes of misery. Richardson's kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Johnson well claimed. He goes again. McKee will give it back to him. He's running inside 50. Floats it high in towards goal. Lockyer, did he get a touch? Yep. One behind. A long week starting out now for Neil Danaher. 19-19, 38 effective scoring shots at goal, and they missed a number of opportunities early on. As Thompson just giving it back again towards Green. He marks in front of Loney, swings round onto that favoured left foot, but elects to get the hand pass off towards Ward. Longer inside 50 now. The defence of Collingwood has been very strong. Freeborn pushes to the line. DiMartina sees it over, and there will be a throw-in on the right half-forward flank. 133 plays 45. The Collingwood camp can be pretty pleased with themselves. Woden leaves it for Simon Godfrey, and he promptly heads out of bounds on the full. These players are going to be walking off in almost darkness.
I think the Melbourne players would be happy.
Yes, a little bit of anonymity wouldn't hurt. No. Loney. Call to play on. So we'll just chip back to Freeborn. Back to Loney. This is how you rack up possessions. A crowd watching this incidentally of 62,761. As Loney waltzes out of defence and floats a kick to Malloy. Jared Malloy sees Richardson and co down in the forward line and wants to go long, and he does go long. Big bomb. Richardson at the back couldn't take it.
He should have taken that one. He had him under the footy. He just had to time the lunge backwards, and it was all his. Just held his ground. In fact, just gave him a little bit of a nudge, and then it was the simplest of marks.
So 2 goals for a 100-point margin. Whelan got it to Ward. Back inside. In trouble was Thompson. Ward goes again. Whelan, who started things off, kicks it up towards the wing. Davis from behind. Turned himself around in midair. Missed the footy. It's going to be a Melbourne free kick to be taken by Green. Davis took a beauty just a few minutes ago on the outer side wing. Dying minutes of the game. This last term has seemed like it's gone for a month as far as Melbourne supporters are concerned. There goes the centering kick from Green. Coming up on the lead down there is Bruce. Going back, claiming the mark is Robertson, and Robertson has paid the mark. It was a gutsy effort, actually.
Well, Melbourne's season is almost identical to this time last year. It was around this time last year where they got absolutely thrashed. I think it was by Carlton. by 97 odd points. In fact, it was round 13 last year. They lost to Carlton very, very heavily.
98
points.
Yes.
Mathematical genius as you are.
Don't be so self-effacing. There goes the kick from Robertson. He puts it straight through the middle.
And they responded and they got into the grand final. So that is the good news for the Demons coming out of this, Sandy. We're looking for a positive, and that can only be it.
Clutching.
Drowning man grab at serpent. And right now Neil Danaher's got a snake in his hand.
Robertson.
Sound like Mick.
Robertson gets his first. 7-9. 1 goal 2 for the quarter. And it's been another 5-goal blast as far as Collingwood is concerned. White floats high. Uze pokes it out wide. Rupert Batheris hasn't had a long run at all today and can't get into the action there. Robertson, foot on the accelerator, gets away in. The old look-away hand pass was interesting to Ward. They're backpedaling. It's all the way back to White, and that's where it started. He goes with a high bomb up towards the half-forward line. Smash down in front. In trouble was Thompson. Gets the hand pass away. It's just a little too wide. Ward goes back again to McDonald. He chips inside 50, and they've got another chance through Green to add to their goal-scoring tally in this final quarter.
Sadly, the mercy rule would have been implemented too often in the last couple of weeks. A lot of one-sided matches.
They're no easier to pick, though, are they?
They're not.
No.
In fact, this is probably, for tipping purposes for next week, this is probably good form for the Demons. They're certainties next week against Brisbane. They've got the home ground advantage.
Green from 45 pops it through. He gets his first as the Gulls prepare to descend on the MCG in a crowd of just over 62,000. Many already having started the long trek home.
Well, luckily we've got lights here at the MCG because it is all but dark.
And we'll just have one more bounce, and that will just about be all she wrote. And it is Collingwood, big winners here on this Queen's birthday. Back in the 8th and ready to mount an assault in the second half of the season.
Yes, they could not have performed better in this first half of the year, and they will go to the mid-season break fully satisfied, I think, with what they've achieved. Could have picked up another victory or two, but they've won some close ones as well, so they are well set.
At half-time, the margin was 34 points. At the final siren, it was 77. Collingwood, 19-20, 134, have belted Melbourne. 8 goals, 9, 57.